Truly, this fight isn't just a duel for the belt. It's a test of identity, a clash of minds, a match between du Plessis' unpredictable chaos and Chimaev's brutal but calculated storm. It's almost a philosophical clash, endurance versus explosion, resilience versus rapid domination. And that's what makes it exciting. To start with, Dricus still knocks du Plessis. This guy isn't a classic technician. He has a disgusting style if you look at it as a purist. He lets his guard down, he hits from an angle, he breathes like a guy at altitude. But strangely, it works, and it even works against killers like Robert Whitaker. And that's what you have to understand. Dricus breaks the mold. He has insane strength, enormous volume, and a steely mind. He has this thing you rarely see. He adapts during the war. Not before, not in the stats. He looks lost, then he shuts you down without warning. He's ugly to look at, but he wins. He's a bit like those street fighters who can't box but knock you out because they put constant, unpredictable pressure on you. On the other side, you have Chimaev, the guy who dives on you from the first second, who sucks you to the ground, who screams while hitting you. He sends you a direct message. You don't belong here. I'm the wolf. You're just prey. And it worked. Hard. Against Li Jingliang, against Holland, he drowned them. But be careful. Since his fight against Burns, we've seen another Chimaev. Less dominant, more human. We've seen a guy who can get hit, who can doubt, and above all, who slows down. This fight isn't balanced on paper, but he's explosive in the sequence of styles. As for your Khamzat the bulldozer, he'll come and take him straight to the ground. Insane pressure. And if it goes through, the fight could be very short. He doesn't want to fight for 5 rounds. He's a sprinter. He wants to finish this quickly, strongly, brutally. Du Plessis is an evolving survivor. He takes it, he backs off strangely, then he comes back again and again. He has the perfect style to survive the waves. And once you're knackered, he eats you. He can't breathe easily, but he holds his own. He boxes poorly, but he lands a punch. He's made for fights where you have to suffer to win. Chimaev's cardio, we've never seen it over 5 rounds. And against Usman, who had just moved up a weight class, he dominated 1 round, then nothing. Dricus's wrestling is underrated. He has good control against the cage, a decent ground game, and above all, an ability to get up which can break Khamzat's rhythm. Dricus's mentality is a mental butcher. He never doubts. We saw Chimaev frustrated against Burns. When he resists, he tenses up, he gets angry, he loses clarity. We can imagine scenarios whose first scenario is that Chimaev crushes him in round 1. Chimaev charges, he clinch, takedown, ground and pound. Du Plessis defends poorly or gives his back, a quick TKO or choke. Chimaev leaves with the microphone yelling, "Smash everyone." But this scenario depends 100% on immediate success. It's all or nothing. The second scenario is that Dricus resists and puts him out. In round 1, he gets brought in and he survives. In round 2, he starts to hit standing up. He blocks the entries. In round 3, Chimaev is breathing down his neck. Dricus is revving up. In rounds 4 or 5, there will be a technical knockout or a clear decision. This scenario is less spectacular, but more likely if the fight lasts. And let's not forget, Dricus is a diesel with arms of concrete. If Chimaev doesn't finish in the first 7 minutes, he's done for. Dricus is not Burns or Holland. He's a natural 84-kilo guy with a chin and size that Chimaev has never seen before. And on top of that, we're talking 5 rounds. And against Usman, who had just moved up a weight class, he dominated a round, then nothing. Dricus's wrestling is underestimated. He has good control against the cage, a decent ground game, and above all, an ability to get up that can break Khamzat's rhythm. Dricus's mentality is a mental butcher. He never doubts. We saw Chimaev frustrated against Burns. When resistance comes, he tenses up, gets angry, and loses clarity. We can imagine scenarios, the first of which is that Chimaev crushes him in round 1. Chimaev charges forward, clinch, takedown, ground and pound. Du Plessis defends poorly or gives up, a quick TKO or choke. Chimaev leaves with the microphone yelling, "Smash everyone." But this scenario depends 100% on immediate success. It's all or nothing. The second scenario is that Dricus resists and puts him out. In round 1, he gets brought in and he survives. In round 2, he starts to hit standing up, he blocks the entries. In round 3, Chimaev is breathing down his neck, Dricus is revving up. In rounds 4 or 5, there will be a technical knockout or a clear decision. This scenario is less spectacular, but more likely if the fight lasts. And let's not forget, Dricus is a diesel with arms of concrete. If Chimaev doesn't finish in the first 7 minutes, he's done for. Dricus is not Burns or Holland. He's a natural 84-kilo guy, with a chin and size that Chimaev has never seen before. And on top of that, we're talking 5 rounds. And against Usman, who had just moved up a weight class, he dominated a round, then nothing. Dricus' wrestling is underestimated. He has good control against the cage, a decent ground game, and above all, an ability to get up that can break Khamzat's rhythm. Dricus' mentality is a mental butcher. He never doubts. We saw Chimaev frustrated against Burns. When resistance comes, he tenses up, gets angry, and loses clarity. We can imagine scenarios, the first of which is that Chimaev crushes him in round 1. Chimaev charges forward, clinch, takedown, ground, and pound. Du Plessis defends poorly or gives up, a quick TKO or choke. Chimaev leaves with the microphone yelling, "Smash everyone." But this scenario depends 100% on immediate success. It's all or nothing. Scenario 2 is that Dricus resists and shuts it down. In round 1, he gets brought in and he survives. In round 2, he starts hitting while standing. He blocks the entrances. In round 3, Chimaev is breathing down his neck. Dricus is revving up. In round 4 or 5, there will be a technical knockout or a clear decision. This scenario is less spectacular, but more likely if the fight lasts. And we mustn't forget, Dricus is a diesel with arms of concrete. If Chimaev doesn't finish in the first 7 minutes, he's done for. Dricus is not Burns or Holland. He's a natural 84-kilo guy with a chin and size that Chimaev has never seen before. And on top of that, we're talking 5 rounds. Du Plessis, he's a champion, he knows the distance. So my prediction is Du Plessis wins, TKO or late decision. But be careful, if he gets caught on the ground early, there won't be a round 2. This fight is binary. Either Chimaev dominates quickly or Dricus destroys him slowly. Afterwards, when you analyze a high-level fight, you can't ignore the mental war. And here it's not just 2 guys in shorts, it's 2 visions of the world that clash. Chimaev, he comes with the aura of the monster, the one that everyone avoids. He looks at you as if you were already dead. But since Burns and Usman, this aura has cracked. He won, yeah, but no one is afraid anymore. And in a sport like MMA, fear of the opponent is a weapon. If you lose it, you become just another strong guy. Dricus, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. He comes as the outsider that we don't respect, and he loves that role. Look at what he did to Whitaker, a surgical, intelligent, precise guy. Dricus crushed him physically and mentally. He's not a guy who gets impressed by hype or a character. He looks at you and he just thinks, you have 2 arms like me, you're going to breathe, you're going to suffer, and I'm going to last longer than you. That's the side we forget. Dricus breaks you down little by little and he watches you drown. There's an X factor we can't forget, the chaos of MMA. Chimaev can place a choke in 1 minute. Dricus can throw a twisted overhand from hell. But if we put that factor aside, like the lucky punch or flash submission, the structure of the fight favors Du Plessis. Why? Because he's more experienced in 5 rounds. He's more durable in the chaos. He's already beaten guys more technical than Chimaev. And above all, he's willing to suffer longer than Khamzat. If we look at the great champions of the past, those who lasted the long haul, they often have one thing in common. They're not the ones who win quickly, but those who know how to suffer intelligently. GSP didn't always finish, but he controlled. For example, Anderson Silva waited, he read, and struck. Volkanovski is resilience plus intelligence. Chimaev, for now, is above all ultra-dominant. And we know that profiles like that, when things don't work anymore, they crack. Francis Ngannou in 2018 against Stipe was the same logic. Whoever wins, this fight will change their trajectory. If Dricus wins, he becomes the true boss of the division. Gone is the image of the imposter. He becomes the perfect anti-star, ugly to look at, but impossible to beat. And most importantly, it opens the door to defenses against guys like Strickland, Cannonier, or even a return from Adesanya. If Chimaev wins, we'll restart the hype machine. We'll talk about moving up to light heavyweight, doubling the belts, but we still won't know if he can last 5 rounds against a solid guy. Because beating fast doesn't mean reigning for long. If we take away the hype, the highlights, and look at the fight coldly, I'm leaning towards du Plessis. Not because he's more handsome or more publicized, but because the fight is made for the guy who survives. And Chimaev, despite his strength, his style, his madness, he gives too much energy too quickly. He bets everything on impact. But big fights, they're not a sprint, they're a slow drowning, and Dricus is excellent in that style. And again, we can do the same scenarios. Round 1, we'll call it the Chimaev storm, and then it's war. Chimaev starts like a missile, as always. He'll cross the cage, put pressure on you, either with a left feint or straight to the hip. He wants to stick you to the cage, suffocate you, and for 2-3 minutes, he's terrifying. Really. But du Plessis, he's not going to panic. He knows it's coming. He's waiting for it. He'll play the block, the dirty clinch, little jabs to the kidneys, blind knee strikes, arm looped under the shoulder to slow down. What if he gets taken to the ground? He's not going to try to get up right away. He'll tire Chimaev out, pull him towards him, force him to carry his weight. At the end of round 1, Chimaev probably takes him, but he'll have burned through fuel. When round 2 rolls around, that's when things tip over. That's often when Chimaev starts to slow down. Du Plessis starts to feel the other's breathing rate change, and then he slowly accelerates. He'll stay on his feet longer, throw bizarre combinations, jab, overhand, jumping knees, low kicks without warning, mix up the levels, uppercut coming out of the clinch, middle kick when Chimaev tries to feint the fight, and above all, he hurts. He hits weirdly, not cleanly, but it does damage. The end of the round is that Chimaev may still have the advantage, but Dricus has started to wear him down. In round 3, this is where the real fight begins. There Chimaev is no longer the same. He breathes heavily, he tries less. And this is where du Plessis increases his power. He will keep him standing, force him to back off, start to place powerful combinations, body head or knee hook knee. And mentally, this is where Dricus is dangerous, because when you are tired that you have given your whole game plan, and the guy opposite is still there smiling, moving forward, you start asking yourself questions. What if I can't break him? What if he's the one who's going to finish me off? In rounds 4 and 5, it's slow drowning. If we get there, Chimaev is on life support. Du Plessis feels he can finish. He'll accelerate his body strikes, clinch knees, dirty elbows. And the most dangerous thing about Dricus? It's when he senses you're vulnerable, he becomes even more aggressive. There it is. Body shots, ground combos if there's a missed takedown, knock, volume, pressure. Chimaev in this state has never been tested. Chimaev's specific weaknesses, not to be ignored, are that he doesn't like being hit in the body. Against Burns, he immediately backs away as soon as he eats the solar plexus. He lands powerful takedowns, but often without transition or setup. And against a guy with solid cardio, that wears you down. He struggles to manage distance when he tires. He becomes predictable, and his jab becomes almost non-existent. He panics when plan A doesn't work. Against Burns, he went into a street fight without structure, and mentally, he lives in the illusion of being crushed. When it doesn't work, he hasn't yet proven that he knows how to suffer intelligently. Du Plessis is not a classic anti-wrestler. He has a very dirty and very cunning approach. When he defends a takedown and he throws blows from the attempt, even if it's not powerful, just to make you hesitate, he uses his very low balance, but mobile, not static like many basic wrestlers. In the clinch, he is super dangerous, not to submit but to exhaust your back and arms. And even on the ground, he never panics. He works, he claws you, He locks you up, he makes you carry the weight until you get tired of it. So I think that in rounds 1 and 2, Chimaev is dominant but not destructive. Round 3, there is a slow seesaw. Rounds 4 and 5, Dricus takes the upper hand, physically and mentally. So for me, the most likely scenario is a late TKO or unanimous decision for du Plessis. But let's be honest, Chimaev has the weapons to hurt very early. So if du Plessis loses, there are 4 main possibilities. He gets overwhelmed from the start. Chimaev, when he comes in with 100% cardio and he puts you on the ground in the first 30 seconds, it's hell. Even if you're solid, you can get opened up with a ground and pound, lose your breath under the pressure, be stuck against the cage with no way out, and then he can extinguish you in round 1 like mere shirt. It wouldn't necessarily be a lack of level, but a storm management error. And then we often talk about his monster cardio, but in reality, he breathes heavily and he tires, but he manages. Except that this time, he doesn't recover between rounds, that he eats too much control in grappling. He could arrive burned out in the third. And there, even if Chimaev slows down, he remains dangerous. But the truth must be told is that Dricus has a warrior's ego. If he ever wants to fight standing up front, round 1, instead of managing, he could get caught by an explosive counter or a blitz, and Chimaev often feints to drop the guard and then land a short right or a high kick. If he gets caught out there, KO or knockdown, followed by ground and pound. In short, if he loses, it's often because he mishandled the initial hurricane. And it wouldn't be a shame. Few guys can stay calm when a guy charges at you like a tank without brakes. Sometimes, to clarify a fight, you have to put it in a larger story. Like Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos 2, Cain was all about pressure, grinding, and wearing down over 5 rounds. Dos Santos was KO power, stamina, and heart. Their second fight showed what wrestling with cardio could do to a solid striker. Here, Dricus is a bit like Dos Santos, except he also has the grind. So if Chimaev becomes Cain, we're in this style of fight, crush or exhaust. You also have Colby Covington versus Usman 1, a cardio versus cardio fight with volume and mental strength and mounting pressure round after round. Dricus and Chimaev have this same kind of unbreakable profile, except Chimaev is more explosive and Dricus more unpredictable. Or Weidman versus Silva 1, no one believed Weidman could beat Silva. But he had the right plan, the right intensity, the right faith in his game, and he knocked down a king. Dricus in this fight is a bit like that. He's the guy everyone underestimates, but who firmly believes he's destined to surprise. This isn't just a belt fight, it's the ultimate test of Chimaev's style. Can he dominate over 5 rounds against a tough, unimpressed guy with killer cardio? The confirmation or not of the Dricus myth, this weird guy with a dirty style but who beats everyone. A clash of philosophies. On one side, raw, fast, and clean domination. On the other, dirty chaos, controlled disorder. In any case, this fight is not just 2 guys who want to win. It's 2 visions of combat that clash. The one that thinks that we can crush everything by force, and the one that believes that we can survive anything and come back stronger, round after round. And the truth? It's not decided in the commentary, it's decided in the cage.